the stock market, meaning companies' new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on. Nuts! They're nuts! They know nothing!
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
Welcome, my degenerates. The rest of your life starts right now on Market Mania, the no bullshit approach to all financial markets, from Bitcoin, cryptos, NFTs, political betting sometimes, and the largest casino in the world, the U.S. stock market. Today on Market Mania, the hardest hitting show on this YouTube channel, we're going to not buy the dip. That's weird. Pomp's going to be mad. 326 million LOL'd, whoopsie doodled away in Wormhole. Portnoy versus Business Insider. This one is heating up big time. And it looks like we got the CryptoPunks V1 drama. And of course, we give you our pick of the day, which is not investment advice. Do your own research. But Matt Glantz, you're not buying the dip?
No more buying the dip, Mike. So buying the dip is a great strategy in a bull market. So when crypto's going up, stock market's going up, risk assets going up, buying the dip is great. It worked great for everyone for the last couple of years. You couldn't go wrong. But now we're in a bear market, and I say that because the S&P is only down like 6 or 7% from the high. Nasdaq's probably down. I'm guessing like 12 to 15% now from the high, which is not technically a bear market. But almost every stock that someone goes on Robinhood and buys, or TD Ameritrade, you just name it. You name the stock, it's down over 20%, which is basically a bear market in that stock. And we're in bear market territory. So the other thing I remember from 2008, 2009, when we were in that bear market, we had the most vicious 1, 2, 3 day rallies ever, but the market just kept going down, and the rallies are vicious. And that's what the last couple of weeks reminds me of. We had 2 periods in the last 3 weeks where we were up, 5 to 8% in the Nasdaq and the SPY in like two or 3 days, and then just everything gets smacked right back down, and that's where we are now. So I don't know if it's just stock market or crypto, but I don't see anything in a bull market right now. What do you guys see?
I mean,
in terms of the NFT market has been pretty bullish lately. It's a little early, I would say premature in that space, and the last couple of days have been bearish as well in the NFTs, with a lot of drawdowns, 20-25% in some of the bigger projects. For me, I don't typically worry about trying to predict those macro trends, whether it's stocks, crypto, or NFTs. I tend to be pretty contrarian, but like shorting or like being bearish, I feel is just way less upside than being bullish on average. Like if you just are long and bullish within reason, right? Using bankroll management, I think that's the way to play it. And I don't really pay attention to the macro.
I mean, there is some unprecedented shit that went on the last couple of days. If anybody's really got their, eyes to the grindstone here, PayPal has gotten decimated this week. There's an excellent candle on the Robinhood users that saw like a 21% haircut. Facebook just right now, look at Facebook today for a similar story. Remember, this was $1 trillion company. I mean, Matt Glantz, have you ever, can you remember the last time $1 trillion company shed like, 250, billion?
I didn't think it was possible.
Billion that Facebook just puked, basically, somewhere around there.
So I didn't think it was Facebook puked the market cap of Netflix today. Think about
it. And Netflix puked too, but I didn't think it was possible for like the blue chip top 5, top 10 kind of market cap company to lose 20-25% in it. Like I didn't think that was a thing. There was too much.
When that's a thing in a bear market. That's what
that's probably the scariest thing out there. That drop.
Facebook is in every ETF, every fund manager holds Facebook, so everyone's getting destroyed today.
Yeah.
Think about this now. Think about this. Cryptocurrency very likely had something to do with PayPal's downfall. Where, obviously you saw Chris Moneymaker, if you guys are poker players, leading some massive jihad against PayPal over some, people tried to pay money to each other for whatever reason, and they just froze it. And You know, I mean, and those type of levels, I think PayPal's was like 40 or 50 billion too worth of value. And it makes me think, where does that value go? It is actually just erased. It is wiped off.
Mike, speaking of that value, crypto created the value in Robinhood. Robinhood went public because of crypto, because they made so much money for people trading
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin, yeah, Dogecoin. Absolutely.
It created all that value. Yeah. They sucked in the public investors when they went public. Stock went to like some ridiculous amount. You know, I don't know what the market cap was, 70 billion or something.
That's wrecked.
And it's completely, now that all that trading stopped, they're not making any more money in crypto really, and there's not really that kind of growth. So now the stock got destroyed, and everybody's just holding the bag.
Yeah, Tony, the producer, I'm proud of the legacy. I'm proud of the legacy we left here, because I was screaming, "Hey guys, this shit's dangerous." You know, you're sending the wrong message with Dogecoin. I mean, I don't know. I remember. That's fine.
I want to lay out one more warning. I can't breathe actually, a question for you guys, specifically Matt. Does this mean, because this market's tanking even on the hint of raising rates, does this mean they're really ever going to raise rates? Can they raise rates at this point? What do you guys think? And then I'm out of here for the next topic.
So if you look at the betting markets and futures markets, it's still 100% they're going to raise a quarter in March, at least a quarter. So there's some people that think they're going to raise 50 basis points, but most likely just a quarter in March, and they'll see where they're going. But when people say they're going to raise 6 or 7 times during the year, that's crazy to say that kind of stuff, because you don't know. It's basically the way that Powell does his business is he kind of projects a raise, tells everyone to think, we're going to raise in March. He's going to do one raise, and he's going to see the data, see how the data changes, and go from there. Maybe he'll raise again a month or two later, but nobody knows how, what inflation is going to be like, what the market's going to be like at that point. So you just have to take it one step at a time.
I can't help but always think about how incredibly sane cryptocurrency is when the face is like, oh, some shadowy org is going to raise the rate of the overnight lending, and then they're just going to print more, and they're going to give another stimmy. And I don't know. And then I'm thinking like that. And then all of a sudden I see $326 million worth of this crypto that can't be inflated get whoopsie doodled on out of the Wormhole bridge. What is it? Is it a bridge? Are we calling it a bridge? I mean, yeah, Brett, have you seen, I know you saw, I mean, this is a Solana thing. This is where you have ETH on the Ethereum chain. Wormhole accepts the ETH. You pile in a bunch of ETH into Wormhole, real ETH, and then Wormhole will issue essentially a 1-to-1 backed asset of ETH on Solana. So they have the real ETH in their little smart contract. It's so smart, nothing can happen to it. And then they issue you a bunch of ETH so you can trade ETH on Solana. Now ETH is now, but it's really backed by something. And then somehow, some way, somebody that's much smarter than me and could make big money doing it, whoopsie doodle, the basically drained the thing of ETH and a little bit of Solana too, I think. 300 million, over $250 million of value stolen. This time it wasn't evaporated, it was transferred. Someone has it. Very quickly thereafter, the Wormhole devs throw out something on the blockchain that says, hey, we want to do a white hat deal with you, Wormhole exploiter. We'll give you 10 million in a white hat deal. Thanks for doing a bug bounty for me. And then you give us the 320 million back. And so it's a weird like gamesmanship thing where the attacker, the exploiter, the coder, however you decide to think about him in your head, he could take 10 million spendable ETH or 320 million. Everybody's looking for my ass ETH. What would you take? What do you think, Brett Ritchie? What do you?
I'm taking the 10 million, man. It's like Jay-Z said: "Sell crack, make $1 million, then stop." Right? 10 million for this, you're good, man. Like you know, and maybe you will counter with 25 or something, right? But I would not want the authorities, the community, like, you're looking over your shoulder, or you're still getting an insane amount of money and you don't have to live like that. So for me,
you can buy a Bored Ape and a CryptoPunk.
Then again, this guy, if you're sophisticated enough to steal it in the first place, decent chance you know how to cover your tracks too. I don't know, but for me, I'm taking that 10 million.
Late word on this is they got the ATH back. They just sent it back to them. And without even taking the 10 million, right?
No, I don't think so.
Brett, get on that Twitter.
They covered it. Here, Jump Trading and Sam Bankman-Fried, I think they just covered it. It's how much money there is in this space, right? The original DAO hack, where they hard forked ETH, was for less money than this, and this was just covered by like a couple parties in the same day.
Oh wow!
You know, they'd still like to get the other money back. And now maybe I'm wrong, and he did return it also, but it was covered through other parties that were just like, oh, you need $250 million, like here you go. The same day.
That's a very interesting thing to see. What Solana is one of the most interesting chains. SBF, the $22 billion autist, like super nerd that has built FTX in 3 years, ran up $22 billion in 3 years, Mac Lance. And he has essentially made it such that Solana will not fail. And he will just keep. And so when a situation like this happens, very bad for Solana. All the Solana ETH is now basically fake. They will inject that kind of money. Guy's got 22 billion and he believes deeply enough in a project, just snap off 320 million. I mean, it's an unprecedented time we live in. We're lucky to just be able to watch shit like this happen.
So the hacker, say the hacker stole all this coin, all this CTH. How does the hacker sell it? Obviously, you can't go to an exchange and sell it because
Tornado Cash.
How do I say that? How do you sell it?
So the best way,
Tornado.cash.
Yeah, Tornado Cash. It's a mixer. So you wouldn't want to send all of this at once because it's too big. But you basically,
you can sell it's like
a tumbler. Yeah, you throw some, you mix it through there, right? So a lot of people will send transactions into Tornado, right? And then and then you get it out on the other side, but it's not necessarily clear which address.
Gotcha.
The input and output kind of thing.
So it's kind of it's easy to sell all this over time.
It is, but it's also it's a little shady to use Tornado in the first place. Like if you're sending from Tornado to Coinbase or something, you're gonna get flagged. I mean, but again, there's a lot of like he stole it on the Solana chain. You can bridge between these chains too. Like you can go to Ethereum, then you can bridge that ETH over to Luna.
Someone's got a Binance account.
You can do a lot of.
Oh my God! You got the robots going.
But yeah, we
get this from Mike on once a show now. At least we get a little robot voice where he has to reset. A lot of crazy stuff going on in this show.
How about does it work now?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, you're good.
It's so strange, right? So weird.
All right, so what do we got?
Brett, Dave Portnoy.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Yeah, so I gotta say it's a little suspicious. 2 times in a row, the night before earnings, Business Insider drops these bombshell reports.
Wait, can I interrupt you, Brett? That's not suspicious. Yeah. That's not a coincidence. That's not suspicious at all. It's obvious.
They're obviously targeting him.
And so to be Business Insider is an unethical organization, right? Like their business model is creating fake controversy to get clicks, putting it behind a paywall, and then also like trying to white knight take the high road. Like if you look into this story, and I saw Dave Portnoy's rebuttal, he shared a lot of text messages. He's followed up on the first one with Business Insider, asking them to issue a clarification. Like they didn't include details from the police report, which seems like basic journalism. And it really seems like it's just this hit piece where they're it's this war now. And Business Insider is one of these like failing institutions, right? Like I get it. Like you're mad that you're reduced to just writing these fake articles for clicks. I would be mad too. And then, Barstool is more of like, hey, we're going to do it our own way and reach this massive success level where these other people are basically just working in a clickbait farm. So like, I get being mad, but there's really not a whole lot to this story that actually makes it a story if you look at it.
Portnoy has receipts here, right? Isn't that basically what the long post is?
He has receipts from these women that claim they were, he has all these texts of them being very flirtatious, saying sexual things, years after these consensual encounters.
I read one thing.
It's just nonsense.
Brett, is this true that Portnoy said, "I'll sit down with you"? All the writer, the owner of Business Insider, and offered
Henry Blodgett to the editor, to the writer, any of them. He's asked, "Let's have a one-on-one interview." They won't do it, and then they hide
the article behind a paywall.
They hide the first one was behind a paywall. I don't know about this one, but they do this, And then it's like the journalistic, the blue check, brigade is like Dave Portnoy is evil, right? Because, he's kind of an asshole. But that doesn't make him a rapist, that doesn't make him like some horrible person that deserves these hit pieces about him. Like if you have proof, show it, right? It's all smoke and mirrors.
Well, for what it's worth, it's not hitting the Penn stock today. Penn stock is up with every other stock in the world down. So this is not having the effect it did the first time.
I mean, I'm a gentle lover most of the time. I mean, you have theme nights once in a while. But just because Portnoy is hitting the sheets in this aggressive manner, and then seemingly with repeat customers, Business Insider is a clickbait farm, and he offered to sit. This is a non-story. He offered to sit down with them and give them the full interview. That's like the wet dream of every gotcha. Like if you really think the guy's like a criminal, like remember R. Kelly, like they were just like clamoring over who gets to interview him, and finally that girl, Robert, sit down, Robert. Do you remember? That was like
I didn't watch. I can't watch that. I don't really.
No, it's ridiculous.
I saw the clips on Twitter or whatever.
Robert, and then that is like the like a Watergate level if you really got the guy on this and you could bring him down with an interview and like to deny that and to put, I don't know, seems very weak. Seems like
anyway, he's suing them, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We've also got some drama over
Gawker Hogan style. He's suing him.
Yeah,
he's trying to bury him.
So I don't know what's going to come of that, but I'll be watching. I'm sure the Penn stock holders will be watching that too. So the CryptoPunks drama, this is pretty interesting. Micon, have you been following this?
I have, and I kind of love how bad Larva Labs has floundered here.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's so bad, it's funny to me.
What happened, guys? I don't even know.
Why don't you sum it up, Micon?
This is excellent. So it turns out CryptoPunks, those things that everyone's buying for $200,000 here and there, up to the many millions for the aliens, apes, and zombies, were actually the V2 contract. Some of those NFT archaeologists, obviously we have a lot in the Pepe space too, but the ETH versions of these scientists have dug up the original CryptoPunks contract, which was in some sort of foobarred state. They were able to use a similar wrapper to the emblem vaults that Pepe's go in to take these old fucked up punks, throw them on ETH in a OpenSea tradable or some sort of a now tradable format. Larva Labs, the people that made CryptoPunks, which I believe is just two people. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Brett, on any of this.
They don't seem to want to hire people. I'm sure they might have some other employees by now, but it's two main guys.
Was their big cash out was Meebits, basically? Is that how they got paid?
They made $80 million on Meebits.
$80 million on Meebits.
They shipped a couple of small features in the year since.
And so, but Punks they didn't make their money on. So they're salty.
No, Punks were a free claim. So the first version of it, there was an issue with the contract where either the buyer or the seller, I forget, if you made a transaction, one guy got both, the item and the ETH, and the other guy got nothing. So that was pretty bad for the secondary activity. So they redid it, the exact same art. They airdropped it to everybody that had the V1 version, the fixed one, and then that V2 is what became this phenomenon. And what's interesting is Larva Labs, in my opinion, their marketing has bordered on disingenuous. Their OpenSea page said we're the first NFT for years. Okay, Micon, you and I both know how ridiculous that claim is, being in the Pepe space. It's not even the first Ethereum NFT.
Pepe, right.
So they made this whole thing about provenance and history, and punks are important. They were the first 10K generative trait project. Punk's extremely groundbreaking, phenomenal innovation. You don't need to then make up other stuff, right? But it's kind of coming back to bite them because it was all about the history and the provenance is why punks are valuable, because the team didn't, they're not really shipped. They just created it and just kind of sit there. Now it's okay, well, if it's history and provenance, well, these punks were first. So why aren't, and then the team's actually, we don't like those. But the worst thing they did is the V1 punks start getting traction, right? They get wrapped. People are now trading them. One of the Larva founders transfers 40 punks to a separate, unknown wallet. Market dumps all 40 for 200 something ETH. Then Larva tweets out, hey, we don't like these. Then they keep trading, and now Larva says we're going to sue, and you can't use the name and you can't use the art. Even though they created them on chain, Larva Labs created them. So it's like this complete own goal. It's splitting the community. A lot of Punks owners are like, these guys are a disaster. Like, I think Punks would probably be like a 200 ETH floor if Larva stepped away. Like, they're just causing a lot of damage to this is tremendous
Larva
IP.
Labs. If anybody is listening from Larva Labs, the solution was this, and you still have a chance. You make another little part of the website. Hey, the V1 Punks contract was broken in this way. Oops, it's still part of the history because it's in the blockchain. You embrace that shit. You make a little. You're like, we don't consider those the quote real punks, but they are this, and they trade here, and like you put the data up, do everything, and embrace it. That's the only thing you can really do. That's the only thing that makes sense. Selling them and then suing the people that just gave you money.
It's fucking insane.
It's just whoever the fuck thought that was a good idea. They need to not be making decisions, and that's just that simple.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the best take on it I saw was from Matt Shadows, the singer of Avenged Sevenfold, has a few punks. And he compared like the V1 to like a demo tape from a musician or something, and then V2 is like the completed album. And there's places for both, like there's secondary markets for like, oh, that's like a Jimi Hendrix demo or something. You know,
there's the scrap of paper that that Paul wrote the words before the Beatles recorded it. Yeah,
but to try and just eliminate it is when it's on the blockchain, like you guys created it. Now you're gonna go suing people to like, it's just so ridiculous.
Own goal is the best.
Well, I'm just gonna say now, there's no way I'm buying a CryptoPunk now after hearing this.
Nope. This is a rare Pepe man.
And they're crashing because now people are scared to buy either one. You know?
I was on the fence for a while, but no more. Now I'm definitely not gonna buy one.
I'm definitely showing my own bags. I mean, I'll raise my hand. I'll show my own bags, but you'll never see this bullshit from Pepe's. Pepe's were a bunch of stoners that got together to just meme bullshit from 2016. I mean, there's no company, there was no suing. No one's gonna sue you. Anyway, it's time for our viewers' favorite part of the show is based on the feedback. It is the Market Mania pick of the day. A fix your safety glass.
Everybody stack. I'm stacking to the top.
Safety glasses on, Mac Lance. What?
You know what? Let's go with the safe one today. Disney. You know, Disney's beat up like the rest of the market, but we need something nice and safe. I don't want to buy the dip on the market, but if you have to buy something, I think Disney's the place to go right now.
Brett Ritchie, this man's with the mouse. What are you with?
I'm heading over to Art Blocks, which was very hot last year. Incredible peak, massive crash. This drop is in about an hour at noon Pacific. It is called Legends of Metaterra. I know I've been picking more like older long-term stuff. This one is an upcoming drop. It's only 0.025 ETH, and there's 1,000 of them. I don't think it's necessarily like some amazing like flip opportunity, but I really like this artist. I think he's the most diverse artist on Art Blocks. It's 0.025. There's only 1,000 of them. You know, it's like pretty low downside, right? At that price, it's only like
it can only go to zero.
Yeah, but it's like $100, right?
You can only lose 100%. That's all.
I guarantee you don't lose 100% on this. How's that?
Guarantee, guys.
Within the next 48 hours, this is not going to flat zero. And I'll bet the other side of that.
They're cheap.
I got a question here. So you're gonna mint these. What are you looking for? What are you hoping to get?
I just like the artist. I like the cheap entry price, and
he's hoping to get his money back. It sounds like
this is not
no.
Like
I think I would like to make. I would like to profit. But I don't. I like the artist, so I don't mind holding it. No, this is Art Blocks. This is Art Blocks Factory.
But it doesn't. But doesn't Art Blocks? Isn't that the squiggles and the fidenzas and stuff?
They have like 500 collections there, or 200, 300.
But this is a typical Art Blocks. It could be just little dogs and shit and whatever.
It's usually more like generative art, like 3D
Mac
sculpture
Lance.
Type things.
I'm just gonna say it right here. I'm just gonna say it, Brian. What everyone's thinking. I'm just gonna say it. Crypto's gonna crash. NFTs are gonna get obliterated. Okay, every risk asset is getting smoked right now in the market. Look at the ARK fund. Look at all the tech stocks. That's just the first wave. There's no way that crypto and NFTs are gonna hold up. The market is going down.
No, but look, you can get a ninja. You can get a ninja. You can get a
0.025, and you can get a rogue. You can get that like chimera thing.
You can, no matter how cheap something is, you can still lose 100%. Just so everyone's clear on that.
Not in the next 48 hours. Worst case scenario is 90% loss.
I hope you're minting great today, and we'll never ever forget this moment in investing and monetary history.
Listen, in 2010, the smartest person I ever met said to me, in about a dozen years from now, people will be minting stupid cartoon characters on the internet, and that's when the bubble's popping. Just so you know. And that guy is, I'm not going to name who it was, that guy was a super genius. And now people are minting cartoon characters on the internet. So what am I going to say? It's over.
Wow.
I mean, it's been nothing but a top signal. Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, yeah, that sounds like they're not going to make it. But that's
people saying the same thing in 2018, 2019. That's what I don't worry. Famous last words, right? I'm not out there buying like Shiba Inu at the top. Like I still within NFTs, I still look for the cheap entry prices, hoping to catch a wave to broad. But I can't sit there worrying about the sky is falling or whatever. Typically, in general, being long, being bullish is better than being short or bearish. And, that's above my pay grade predicting these macro trends. So I don't worry about it.
90% of the time, you'll be better off being bullish than bearish. I agree with you, Brett.
Yeah.
Too bad right now is one of those, that's 10% of the time.
No, but remember everyone's like Bitcoin is the hedge against the markets, and it never was. Bitcoin would crash when the markets did. NFTs, absolutely. Right? They could be that hedge. I don't think so, but it's possible.
Are they going to use it? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Call me when it goes from 0.25 to 0.0025.
0.025.
0.00025 in a few days. We'll see.
My pick of the day.
It's like $70.
Carnival Cruise Lines.
Ooh.
And this is one of the very few things that haven't pumped. If you look at a 1 year or 5 year, it's just obviously cruise lines got riggedy wrecked. And inflation too. So if it's flat, it's really down. And if it's down, then it's really just wrecked. And I just think that if the pandemic's ending, I don't know, I think it's ending. I think people are done. Like Norway, some of those Nordic states all said they're done. And then if it's done, then old people are gonna go cruise. Cruises haven't pumped, but maybe we're just in a forever bear market. But that's what I'm gonna gamble on. I gotta gamble. I'm gonna fire on some cruises. And Brett's going to fire on some cartoon medieval characters. Yeah. And that's fine. And really, that's fine. You shouldn't be mad. Nobody should be mad. If Brett wants to buy cartoons, let him buy cartoons. It's not hurting you.
Let him live.
It's not taking much energy. Yeah, right. Just let him live. Reminds me of one from Jimmy Wapo. I've been finding all these great rappers, but they've all been killed, which is horrible. But he has this banger, Elm Street, which is it just slaps, and goes a little something like this. It's a mystery, Scooby-Doo. Uzi made him do the hula hoop. Choppa make him chicken noodle soup. I got some hitters like to toot and boot. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching this. Like and subscribe to this, and we might do it again. We will see you tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but some other time. If we do this again, it might not be me in the seat driving the bus. But for now, it is lights out.
I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold or a domino, out of control. The usual. Get mad cause I'm looking at your girl. Switch it up. I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard, got the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury. However, turn it where I would turn it. Can't lie like it's Mississippi burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine should've looked the other way. Couldn't clear space on my mind. Was afraid of the time. Strobe lights like in the moonlight.